Hey there, this is Erica from Ever Educating, and welcome to my 6th tutorial on using Flixier for your video editing for creating your lessons. Flixier is a sponsor of this video, and it's basically a cloud-based software that you can use to edit your videos for your students or for any reason you might be creating videos. We went through some basics, some intermediate, some advanced tools, but today I want to talk about an important one, especially if you're a co-teacher or co-creator, because one great feature that they have is the review links feature on Flixier. So this feature actually allows you to share videos very easily, and you can have multiple editors on the same video. You can have annotations of that video. So there's a lot that can happen here, and so I wanted to show you how you can use this if you have a team that you're working with to create and edit these videos.
So first things first, where exactly do you find the tool for reviewing links? Now, on here, I'm on my dashboard, looking at all my projects. So to see the ones that have already been created, the review links that have already been created, you go to that tab. And you can see here the expiration date, if you added one, what versions you sent, all of that. Okay, so that's under here. But to begin, you want to go to all projects. And for example, I'm currently working on a video that's going to be a collaboration with other academics. And so I basically created the intro to that video as well as the teaching tip that I will be sharing as part of that video. So that's right here. So what I can do is I can click on the ellipses and then share a review link. Once I click that, I go to this page, and you have some options here. So if you want to, you can just have no expiration date, if you don't really care how long it's viable for. If you do care, then obviously you could say expire at and say which day does the link no longer work. So that's up to you. And then you can have public, so anyone with a link can view the project, or you can make it private, and you can say, okay, if they have this email address, then they're the ones who can view the link. So again, up to you to decide how you want to do that. Once you have it set, so maybe you do have an expiration date, but you're going to have it public, you can update your review link, right? And then use that one instead. Okay. So let's say I'm just keeping it simple here. So I have the link right there, copy it, and then send it via email or via text message to my partners who will be working on the video with me. So in this case, I'm doing it so that my collaborators can see, okay, this is how she introduces this topic. Here's her teaching tip. Let me make sure my teaching tip is different and get a sense of, the feel for the video itself. Okay, so that's one option here is actually having, okay, I'm going to have more people on this video. Let me show them what currently is there. Okay, so again, 3 ellipses, and then you do share a review link. Now, how does the review link work? So say you go here, and I'm going to go ahead and open up this one. So as you can see here, you have the video up here, and what you can do is you can leave comments on the video. Okay, so let's say I sent this to my, co-creators, and I have, they click play, and then let's say they get to here, and I say something, and they're like, oh, okay, well, now I should point out to her that she actually misspoke. She meant to say X, but she said Z instead. So we're right here in the video, and you can say, all right, 25 seconds in, here's a comment. Hey, you said X when you meant Y. Okay, and then send it, and now the comment will appear on as part of the review link. So when I open it up, I can see, okay, this person told me this, that person told me that, and so you can have this conversation when viewing the video. So if you're co-teaching, you might have a video lesson, and then your co-teacher might be reading through it or watching through it and saying, oh, here, I'm going to go ahead and create a assignment for this information that you just said. Oh, over here, you mentioned this. I think that's going to be a good resource to create a PDF for. I'll be in charge of that, right? So they can review this video early before you actually post it onto the LMS or onto YouTube or wherever it is you're going to be sharing it. And they have, a sneak peek into it so that they can create what's needed. Okay. Another way of doing this is, let's say, okay, well, I want to make sure that when I have this lesson, I want to make sure that the editing is correct, that I haven't skipped anything, that I didn't leave any mistakes, but that's time consuming. So I'm going to just have my partner or someone else do that for me, check that for me. So what you can do, again, rather than downloading it on Flixier and using some of that time of downloading for exporting, rather than having to, download it and then put it onto YouTube or whatever the case may be, you can just send them the link and then there's no exporting needed. They can just see it, watch it, and then if they need to leave a comment saying, hey, you forgot to erase this, or hey, this is garbled, or hey, this is incorrect, then they can just add these comments to the video and you can go straight back into it and say, okay, let me edit out this, edit out that. All right, I've dealt with all the comments. It's correct now. Now I can export it from Flixier and post it wherever it is it needs to go. So on the one hand, you can just share it as a preview if you're still doing some minor edits, but you want to give your co-teacher a sense of what's happening next week. Just send it to them early, right? But you don't have to send them the final product. You can just send them one and say, hey, by the way, I'm working on this. If you have suggestions of what to add, let me know. I'll be done with it on Friday, so I can still add things if you think they're necessary, right? Or again, it can be, okay, you're going to be in charge of making sure that I edited properly, that I got rid of everything that I need to. Now as well, I have the team version of the Flixier Pro. So over here on the right, I can go ahead and add a team member if they also have Flixier. So I can search it by their name, or I can just invite them by email. And then once you have that, then again, you can kind of make it easier for your teammate to see the videos, right? And they can also edit it for you, right? The video as well, if you're on the same team. But for now, if they don't have access to Flixier, you just want them to see it and do something and give you feedback, then all you need to do is use the review link. You do not have to have a Flixier account in order to view these videos when you're just sharing the link with them. If you're in the actual video editing it, you can also go down here on the left and click reviews, and you can see the review link version of it, and leave comments here as well. You can update the link if you've done some edits to resend it as well. So there is this option of using the review link feature here, or you can just use it from the dashboard. Now, since this is the last video in the series, I did want to point out just a little small details that I haven't talked about so far on this series. So for example, the audio feature is not one I used because it's still pretty limited. It's something they're still working on. And so there are some options here in case you're interested, but I decided, not to use any of the songs because I don't need them in my lessons. There are some here in case you want to check it out. But again, it's not a major element of Flixier at this point in time. One option you can do is you could potentially just import music or import sound effects into Flixier if you want to use certain songs or certain special effects. So for example, when you see in my library, all the way in the beginning, so this one is a sound effect that I downloaded from a website that I have access to because of the work I do on YouTube. And that's, I believe, stockunlimited.com. But you have to pay for that one. But in this case, it has audio, it has actual music, and it has sound effects. And so what I did is I just downloaded this little beep, basically, and I can use it in my videos as I want. I just go ahead and drag it in and, move it to wherever it is it needs to be. And I play it, and it makes a little like ka-chink sound at this point in time. So that's an option for you if you do want to use music and you have access to uncopyrighted or your own music or special effects, then you can import that just like you would an image or a video. And you can use it throughout your videos as needed. Now, one thing I also haven't spent a lot of time on is if you want to have more advanced editing, you can go over here to the color function, and you can also see filters in case you want to add a filter to it. That's one option, right? But then another option is you can actually adjust the colors as needed. So you can adjust the brightness of your video, right? The contrast, the saturation, and the hue rotation. So you can get at least a little bit of doing color adjustments using this tool as well, in case you want to be a bit more advanced in editing of how your video looks. Okay. Same with this advanced feature with the gamma. I don't tend to use these, but it can work well if you're someone who wants to do a little bit more with your color in your videos. Same with effects. I did show the green screen effects in that last video, but there are other ones too, right? So if you do want to have some advanced elements, you can go ahead and see, how exactly do you want to use these elements in your particular video, right? So do you want to have that kind of focus, right, in the middle there with the vignette style? Do you want to see about maybe blurring, right, for a certain reason. Okay, and so there are elements here of doing a bit of more high-tech editing where you can do a bit more, engaging visual elements with your video lessons.